Even despite Zootopia 2 and Wicked for Good doing quite well at the box office, things are not all right in Tinseltown, Hollywood facing an existential crisis, and now, finally, they may be firing, letting go, and saying sayonara to those who dove down in the depths of DEI and nearly destroyed the entertainment industry. Hello, folks. Hello, friends. Welcome back yet again. What a joy. What a pleasure. And happy holiday season. You know what? We'll say it. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. And a Festivus to all of the rest of you guys out there who don't celebrate those things. You know what? We all celebrate New Year's, though. Can we say Happy New Year's? We can say Happy New Year's. It's almost like gendered language these days. You know, people are afraid to say Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas. We'll do it. We'll do it. Nobody's really into Kwanzaa, though. Let's just be honest about it. Folks, let's talk about Hollywood. They're in deep trouble. And now they are no longer doubling down on DEI. Click the like button. We'll explain. The turnaround, she is on the way. At least that's what they say. We'll talk about it in a second. But first, you need to know why Holly Weird is on its knees saying, please, please, we'll do whatever it takes to return. You got to go to the domestic yearly box office out of Box Office Mojo. And I want you to see just how badly things are going. Now, they've got to make up at this time $1.2 billion to catch up with 2024 and get above it, okay? And they were telling you they got to survive to 25. Now, right now, unless Zootopia 2 can clear a ton of money in the next 8 weeks or so, they're in trouble. Man, we got less than, we're down to like 5 weeks in the year, okay? 5 weeks, they got to clear a lot of money. And you say, well, no, the Avatar, man, it's going to do it. Avatar doesn't come out until the end of the year. It's only got like 2 weeks that it has any impact on this year's box office. So this has to come from Wicked and Zootopia 2, basically. All right, $1.2 billion in order to catch up with 2024. Now, some people out there say, well, who cares? I mean, you know, let me show you why. You notice down here how these numbers are way bigger. 2019, $11.3 billion. 2018, 11.8. You can round it up, $11.9 billion. You see that?
In fact, weird how that happens.
Yeah, all the way back to 2015, the standard was to make $11 billion at the domestic box office. Now, remember, inflation and movie ticket prices are insane. Okay, the cost of a movie ticket has exceeded historic inflation. So the fact that we have retreated down to $7.3 billion, if you just sold the same number of tickets that they used to, you'd be at like $16 billion these days. So the fact that we're actually retreating really says that we may be down around 25% of the movie-going audience that existed back here in 2019-18, okay? So that's a big deal. It's a big deal because if only 25% of the people are going to see movies that did just a few years ago, that's harming toy sales. It's harming Happy Meals. It's harming all of the ecosystem of people going to theme parks to see this stuff because they love the movie in the cinema. That's all gone. And cinemas cannot survive on this. To go back to a time when we were making this small amount of money, we got to go back to like the early 2000s. And again, remember, movie tickets back then, maybe 30% of the cost they are today. Okay? You think it's bad at McDonald's? You think it's bad that the dollar menu is turned into the $5 menu? Movie tickets are even worse. Now, this apparently has turned into a situation where Hollywood is purging out the wokesters. And I know some of you don't believe that, but we're going to go to Script Doctor, who says that it may be happening. Script Doctor says it may be difficult to see, but the entertainment industry is healing. He knows this because the vast majority of the quote-unquote writers of some of the worst shows that ever aired over the last 15 years are currently not working on any projects, again, according to Script Doctor. Some having been out of work since 2021. To put that in perspective, some of these shows that went on for multiple seasons had almost 40-plus writers during its entire run, and on average, 10 to 15 writers per show, barely scraping by. The industry is changing, and whatever its next form will be, looks like it will have some actual talent behind it. So Script Doctor is optimistic. Now, this is something they're watching very closely in Hollywood, in the trades. Variety reporting this. Rebecca Rubin, will Zootopia 2, Avatar, Fire and Ash, and other holiday hopefuls salvage the 2025 box office? We'll read this in just a minute, but first, guys, I want to go to Ron and just ask, Ron, this has been an awful year. Do you think that the average person understands just how badly things are going for theaters and that they could quickly turn into Goodwills and Spirit Halloween stores?
And honestly, I think they do, not necessarily from a monetary perspective, but just that when I talk to the majority of my friends, people that I know outside of this, everyone just says they prefer watching movies at home now. I mean, it's really come down to the bottom line. 2020 reconditioned people. It really did. People were like, okay, I can stay home. I can, for less than $1,000, I can basically create a movie theater in my house. I can have popcorn for a whole lot less. You take a family to the theater and have a good experience. It can cost easily $100 just to go see a single movie when you add in the popcorn and the soda pops and all of that. And it just comes down to people's budgets. You can be entertained. You can be entertained for a lot less, and you can have that experience in your home. You could even create movie nights with friends. There's a movie club that that I'm a part of on in Facebook, where this once a month, a person says, "Hey, everybody, like get 10, 20 people come to the house, have a big movie night." It's just changed so much, and movies have to provide the audience something, a reason to go to the theater, to have the theatrical experience. So yes, Wicked, that's that theater crowd that wants to see, well, is this musical that I loved on the stage going to translate to the screen? And or when we went to see K-pop Demon Hunters in the movie theater after having seen home, because it was actually worth going to the theater to have that theatrical experience with that particular movie. But there's not a lot of those type of movies being made. Maybe Song Sung Blue with Hugh Jackman and the Neil Diamond story will do it.
Well, speaking of Blue, and by the way, theaters may have to partner up with Netflix to get people to come into the theaters, give them the premium experience. Here's the assessment out of Variety about how we're looking for 2025. This year was supposed to cement the great box office reset. Just so you all don't think, oh, pros making it up again. Instead, according to Variety, again, a Hollywood trade, 2025 has fallen far short of that promise. Oh my. Winter was bleak. And although spring surged and summer was decent, the fall season has been tragic. Now, let's remember that when we say summer was decent, I believe they were telling us that this was the worst summer since 1993 or 1987 or something, adjusted for inflation. So if that's decent, man, whoa. With an inconsistent supply of hits, aka almost none, waning interest in once reliable franchises, and stars losing their sizzle, oh, don't you tempt me. It's been a volatile 11 months for movie theaters. Hot or cold, on or off, feast or famine, says analyst David A. Gross of movie consulting firm Franchise Entertainment Research. That's how it's been for most of the year. At this point, domestic revenues are just 3% ahead of last year. That doesn't seem so bad, except that grosses in 2024 were 23.5% behind pre-pandemic times. So there's mounting pressure on a trio of holiday releases: Wicked for Good, Zootopia 2, and Avatar Fire and Ash to salvage the wildly inconsistent year, aka its way down. Now, the problem is that it's going up against some big movies at the end of last year, aka Wicked, Moana 2, Sonic, you get Mufasa, you get the idea. Those films propelled the 2024 box office to where it finally landed, which was not a good place to be. 2025 basically has Zootopia 2 and Wicked to do that because Avatar comes so late in the year. It might be that we do not see this actually get a win for Hollywood. And I think that's why Script Doctor is saying what he's saying, Marvin, that there finally change is happening because they can't survive anymore. There's no surviving on DEI and woketitis.
Well, at the end of the day, the problem that people continue to keep pointing to is problems in the movie theaters. Why don't people want to go to the movies? At the end of the day, it's a very simple thing. People don't want to go to the movie theater because there is nothing worth seeing in the movies right now. It is a quality issue with the films, not with the theaters. It's why the theaters now have to merchandise the heck out of every movie that comes out. Why you go into a Regal and you have to walk through just a wall of merchandise from all the different movies that have come out this year. They're trying to squeeze every dollar out because because people are not coming to see these films anymore. Quality has to be there first and foremost. And what we have seen with films like Barbie, films like Oppenheimer, Top Gun Maverick, now with Wicked, if you have something that people want to see, they will show up for it.
Yeah, and I don't know if they can pull a Barbenheimer here with Zootopia and Wicked. That's the other thing. I think these two films kind of cannibalize each other's demos.
Zootipid?
Oh.
Well,
sounds like
they've missed out on a lot of stuff, and it's because of the years of social justice that they've been trying to push through cinema. This is where we're at. I mean, this is the culmination and the actual literal end of the line as far as they can push this social justice train. You know, this lecturing men. You know, this false elevation of Mary Sue's and everything else that came along with this disaster. They don't have more franchises to disassemble and remove the male hero from and all of the other things that came along the way. They just don't. Every effort they had in 2025 to lift things up, through superhero and action movies failed. I mean, Captain America: Brave New Garbage, Superman, Mission Impossible, Thunderdolts, Predator Feminism. You had the upcoming film where we were talking about that's not going to make this $500 million that they're talking about, the Zootopia thing. You've got Jurassic World Afterbirth, despite all the extra push they put into
Predator feminism. Jurassic World Afterbirth. I see.
Yeah.
I see a pattern.
Captain America: Brave New Garbage was not one of your better ones.
It wasn't, but it wasn't very good. And then, I mean,
what about Captain America: Brave New Hurl? How about that one?
Okay, Brave New Upchuck. Yeah, okay. I just none of it actually landed. And people really did demonstrate the absolute contempt they hold these efforts in. So DEI, I mean, if you look at USC's School of Propaganda, the Annenberg School at the University of Spoiled Children, they even have been talking about the fact that DEI is DOA, a story that they actually came out with in August. They're 100% right, but it's not something we've been giving enough coverage. I think I certainly didn't make a video on it when all of this information came out. Hollywood, and I think this is why Script Doctor is right, has identified that this doesn't work anymore. Nobody wants undeserving female heroes replacing the male characters in male-led stories. I mean, it's bad enough you're going to employ a cult leader again to try to lead a property that really, needed a comeback that, well, he wasn't set up for it. And so Tron failed. I mean, the list of failures this year was, as long as my arm. And it's one of the reasons why I started with the fact that, the bad guys too, Lilo and Stitch, Elio, you've got, I'm going to tell you right now and take my word for it. Avatar Fire and Ash is not going to do well, no matter what anybody tells you. You had, a lot of things that just didn't play well. We had some wonderful opportunities with comedies that included even The Naked Gun that didn't land, and it didn't land not just because of some of the elements that I'm pointing out that Hollywood is notorious for and has essentially destroyed, specifically Disney, but it didn't have a traditional storyline that a male audience could follow. Yes, there are differences between men and women. Yes, men and women appreciate different films. Ladies seem to like the interpersonal relationship garbage that you're going to get out of something like Wicked for Good. right?
Just go through every demographic and say something offensive if you could, Culture.
Okay, I'm working on it. But
Hollywood has been going through one battle after another at the cinemas. Got it.
Yeah. Well, and to hold up as, as the pinnacle of success, one battle after another, specifically, and deifying the anti-FA folks, I think is a little telltale and a little on the nose for the primary reason why they're failing.
Well, they tell tales because they like tales. Hey, Jonas.
Culture.
Yeah.
So I was just saying, Culture, you're saying a lot of words, but you're not saying the one word that everyone wants you to say. Clearly.
I'm not allowed to say it.
You are allowed to say it. Look, I like your new stuff, but sometimes you want to hear the classics.
Jonas.
Okay.
Jonas, tell the folks out there what it was like to go to movies in the 80s and the 90s. What kind of movies did we see? Like, is this the norm to have?
No, this is not the norm.
What do we got?
Okay. To quote the great movie Strange Brew, my brother saw Jedi 17 times, people used to go to the movies all the time because it was a place that you could kind of escape. And it was a communal experience. So you would go, and if a movie was great, you would go see it again. People would go to the movies not knowing what was playing. Now they've turned it into a thing where it has to be an event to go there. Also, they've made it so expensive that no one is going unless they're sure it's going to be a good movie. Well, that used to mean that they would put in an IP or do a sequel or do a reboot or something like that. But now they use sequels, reboots, and IP withdrawals in order to bash you over the head with some kind of ideology that hates you. If you look at like 1989, for instance, you could go through the top 10 movies of 1989, and you would probably see 9 movies at least that they're still making reboots of today because there was so much creativity, there were so many new things, there was so much magic on screen. People went, wow, how did you do that? Instead of going, oh, the CGI is disgusting.
You think that we're going to get a lot of remakes of stuff from this year, new stuff this year?
No, unless Sisu does great, and then Disney buys whatever company made Sisu, and then they'll make it for $600 million and somehow turn something that was a great profit into something that maybe broke even.
You don't think we're going to get the K-pop Demon Hunters reboot in 10 years?
Oh yeah, but you know what might save them, guys? Japan. And Marvin, you stole the thought from my mind because it's East Asia that's coming to the rescue. It's K-pop Demon Hunters. I know it's made in America, but it's based on East Asia. Godzilla is coming back again. It's going to be big. A lot of people will know now what this is and go see it. Don't forget Mario out of Nintendo in Japan. That could be huge. So 2026
Zelda
might be a turnaround, but Zelda. But it's not going to come from Disney. Disney may face the reckoning with Avengers Doomsday and Mandalorian Grogu both revealing just how broken the House of Mouse is. You know, it's always sad when one of these video ends, and yet it is the beginning of the wait for the next one to land. 4 times a day right here on the Pro Channel. And by the way, there's plenty more on our partner channels. That Part Place, That Pod Place, That Game Place, and go check out the original music we have on stations like Vacation Radio. We'd love to have you, love to entertain you. At least we'll do a better job than some of the current entertainment companies. Folks, like, share, subscribe, and you know what? Drop a comment right on down below. Share this out anywhere you go on social media. And until the next time, we have the honor, the pleasure of getting to spend time with you when you choose to invite us into your day to add the value that we hope to bring your way. We ask that you keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.